Greetings, viewers. Tyler here, welcoming you once again to the commentary courtroom. I had honestly thought that my days of responding to other YouTubers had come to an end. Then this video by a guy named Vincent Martin happened. Context time. Last year, just about thought it would be a great idea to commentate on the drama surrounding a YouTuber named Cinebear, a 14-year-old of pornographic comics several times. And he essentially defended her for whatever reason. Cue the massive wave of backlash, and then cue a slew of commentators getting into who Jar was as a person, which resulted in Jar trying to damage control the whole situation, only to make the whole thing worse for himself, bringing up stuff that people wouldn't have known about if it hadn't been for his asinine trait of oversharing. So it would seem that Jar was totally cancelled, right? Even if he comes back like he's planning. He's lost a lot of port and burned a lot of bridges. People that considered him a friend. That's where Vincent comes in. I've heard people say that Jar specifically went to this guy, but considering that video only had like 600 subs, barely ever gets 1K views, he doesn't feel like the kind of guy that Jar would normally have in his corner. Oh well, on to the video!
Very well. Lost child of the day, you may enter.
Now, most people know about Jar's horrible appearance on Chud Logic stream, but here's a quick recap for those who are uninformed. It was suggested to Jar that he should send his video on Cinebear by Cine to Chud Logic for Chud Logic to review. And Chud agreed to watch the video and gave his thoughts on it. Then right after that, someone leaks Jar's DMs to Cine to Chud Logic on that very same stream, and Chud started reading them. That's when we get this moment. Most watched, it seems, where you can see Chud smile a bit before exploding into apparent rage because he's making it out like Jar's trying to use him.
Because that's how it reads.
Also, I'm going to try and reach out to Chud Logic. Ooh, I remember liking his stream. I think with his help, along with the recording... You little fucking bitch! You little wretch!
How else was Chud supposed to take it?
After that, for some reason, Jar decides to go on the Chud Logic stream where they milk him for content.
I'm not gonna deny that Chud milked Jar for all he was worth. But that happened after the live stream, not during.
At this point in time, let me switch over to the one recorded session I did with Jar, going over the next sort of event in this drama. Here.
I don't think you've done the same thing here. I'm more, again, in the same way that Jar's like, oh, you know, people are going to say he's the next Coyote, which I am going to start saying, by the way, because he has done exactly what Coyote tried to do.
So he's saying you're doing exactly what Coyote's doing. I find this a little bit insane.
Yeah, Coyote was like talking very sexually, extremely sexually, making advances towards Sappho, and also being like, hey, let's move into... They were like planning to move in together, and they met through... I believe Zarcarlo, Coyote's roommate. I did not do exactly what Coyote did.
Jar, you were speaking to Cine like she was one of your buddies. Calling her a gooner that wanted to coom, leaving her to excuses for why she did what she did, admitted on a live stream and in your receipts video that you find her and her generic avatar attractive because, and I quote, you're a heterosexual male, and wanted sleepy time calls with her.
Like, I had no plans to meet up with her IRL. I had no plans. I didn't goon with her. I didn't share any porn with her.
Has anybody seen my cock?
I didn't hire someone to draw Cine doing stuff to a 14-year-old.
But you did ask an underage artist to draw porn of Jane animations. Don't care if it was of USA or not. You still want the porn. I honestly considered skipping this whole bit, but I'm glad I didn't. It just highlights how unself-aware Jar is.
Voldemort, Voldemort, ooh, Voldemort.
You need to understand, Lio gave me, like, every time I listened to Lio back in the day, it went well for me. Like, if I did what Lio said, everything kind of worked itself out.
Yeah.
But those were times when Lio had my best interest at heart. This time he didn't. To Lio, I was his ticket back to the top.
I wouldn't even say the top, man. I wouldn't even say the top.
Okay, ticket to, like almost 90% of the to where he used to be.
No, I thought you were a genuine friend and stick around because he wanted to see you improve as a person. He wanted you to knock off your nonsense and wanted to seriously discuss it with your defense of Cinny, as well as other shit you were doing in and out of that video. You, Jar, stuck around Lio because you saw someone who would assign to your detractors and get people who had it up for you to back off, like Chaos 55T and her roommate Turbo Fluffy, who tried to label you as a groomer for dumb shit on DeviantArt. He especially had to babysit you from doing dumb shit, like when you were bitching about Mandy Malware because she got onto you about comparing Spock Detect to EDP-445. If anyone needed anyone, was you, Mr. Roboto. The fact that you think Lio was just your friend solely for his benefit really says a lot about how you view friendships in general.
What I was trying to talk to Jar about here was him going on Chud Logic. But the reason Jar talked to Beckett was because of Lio Convoy, who had a part in Beckett's video on Jar. So I can definitely say this smells of a setup.
Yes, everyone. Lio said Jar to be taken down with that dastardly Beckett. That is the only reason Lio would have been cool with Beckett, using the audio from his call with Jar and a meme of his lion persona. Oh, those conniving bastards. Really, Jar was just a poor innocent, just to make content. Honestly, this kind of conspiratorial thinking is something I've come to expect from Jar and anyone who associates with him. Jar is paranoid that the RTC is out to get him, even though they have no real motive. They just want him to leave them alone and keep their names out of his mouth. If anyone was out to get him, it was DeviantArt Rangers like Chaos, who, again, conspired to get Jar called a groomer. But since the DeviantArt Rain community is mostly dead, thank God, Jar needs a new Rose Gallery, and this subsect of the commentary community that already doesn't like him will do just fine. His hatred of these people is so insane. He's claimed they wish he was the one who saw the nudes of a minor instead of Spock Tech.
Even after listening to the call between the two, Jar and Lio, because of course Lio uploaded it, and he freaking called Beckett Bear.
Other people came to me asking, and I didn't get involved. Other than
Who's
a couple.
Beckett?
Beckett runs a podcast called the Cope and Seed Podcast, and he's one person.
I know. Okay, now I know who did that.
You need to talk to him because he's going to be fair to you.
Also, he wanted Jar to talk to Kumo.
Another person you need to talk to, and you're going to hate this, Jar. You're really going to hate this. You need to talk to Kumo. If for no other reason than to at least give him your side of some things.
I guess we're just ignoring what Lio said there for the sake of your narrative that this was all to take Jar down, huh? Lio uploaded the call to be transparent about where he stood on Jar's behavior. Same with the other videos he did. If you're thinking that was all for clout, no, Lio's never cared about being a big YouTuber, since he's said multiple times that there's no guarantee that YouTube will last till the heat death of the universe. Jar, though, acts like YouTube is everything. And that ain't just me talking, he basically said so in his EDP video.
Do you honestly think that I would sit back and throw away my life for something punk ass that barely even has fucking hair on her motherfucking pussy? For a fuckage that probably doesn't even... For a bitch that probably never even heard of the fucking Pythagorean theorem?
Well, the answer is you are. You had YouTube, a dream job, and you just gave it all up.
Find me a clip of where Lio or even Beckett say something like that.
I meant maybe this wasn't a setup. Maybe Lio is just a really, really bad judge of character.
Maybe. After all, he did think that Jar and Zay Magenta would improve as people if forced to drop all their negative traits.
Or a complete idiot. Still, I'm betting on the setup side of things because of hindsight.
Originally, I had no idea where this screenshot was from, but then I remembered that Jar used it in his video on Opus Peaches about how he thinks RTC people are backstabbers. How convenient that this B footage just so happened to line up with your audio. I am curious what hindsight you think from Lio ending his friendship with Jar, though. I mean, if we're gonna talk backstabbers, Here's the fact that despite getting along with Newtons for like maybe a year, to the point that she was one of his editors, that after the FCK stuff came out, Jar basically did a video on her that included all the old Mr. Maker drama, told her insulting nicknames, saying that she was totally unshareable to him, when admitted she was one of the few people in the slideshow commentary community who could tolerate the man. No cat had a thumbnail of her in a diaper. Taking someone in the ribs while they're down sure feels like a scummy thing to do. Yeah, I know no one really likes Doodles at this point. I will be tearing into her later this year, but still, man, that's two-faced snake behavior.
And I would say that discussion between the two fits very well into Beckett's Freak retrospective, the Just the Robot Files, but it really doesn't.
So I, unfortunately, had the displeasure of going through your Susie video today, because I had it beforehand. Because I've had people tell me it was in there, and I wanted to make sure I knew. So I'm going to tell you what I saw in that video, Jar. I saw you dancing on the grave of somebody who, with the exception of voicing in a video, which you and her resolved between yourselves, dancing on the grave of somebody who'd been nothing but kind.
Oh hey, I was referencing what I just talked about.
Like, what does Leo's thoughts about Jar has to do with anything, man? Also, the same goes about. Is this something to promote these people, or are they trying to give some credibility to Beckett? I'm not gonna be soy and say Jar is racist or sexual predator or anything like that, but here are all the things people need to make those claims about it.
The risk of making Jar sound dangerously based, let's just say the racism accusations are more than just doing some voices. Now, while I don't personally care, I think that there is more than enough here that if you wanted to make that accusation, it is a reasonable one to make.
Yeah, be sure, my bet is on a little bit of both. But let me get back into this mess. This narrative that Jar had a thing for Cinny seems completely ridiculous and applies better to Kumo. I mean, they can say, oh, we can only see Jar doing it with females. Well, fucking open your eyes, you fucking morons.
Oh, I do declare. Someone's gonna be heated, aren't they? You know, I'm not gonna assume that Vincent here is a Jar fanboy, but I won't discourage other people from coming to that conclusion.
You're trying to make big claims about someone. Yeah, just the cowardly nature of this just annoys me to the degree.
Same, brother. Same.
If you're gonna try to cancel someone, don't be a bitch about it.
I have only seen him interact with women.
Yes, it's stupid humor, but it's consistent across the board.
And people's discomfort with this.
What a cute little pussy.
He's consistent. Know what's funny? Jar has admitted that doing shit like this has gotten him fired from real life jobs because he can't help but be weird and creepy around women. He didn't deny this when I confronted him about it on Twitter either. You would think, autistic or not, he'd figure to stop doing this shit if it was causing him problems. Guess not.
Boring. Boring. Don't care.
Because when I asked Jar what he considers himself, not that I'm a big fan of self-ID, but you want to get the grasp of this. He told me he considers himself anti-woke, and most of the ACC are lightly progressive at best, and some of the more woke side of that group try to downplay it.
Another Black creator, Thuman, stepped in to lend support to Omnia and Zay as she felt the two were being unfairly treated by the community. And then Jar appeared with a video collaboration with two other creators, so he could also criticize Omnia and Zay. That video he made was dog shit. I would know. I made a video on it at the time. I would link to that video so everyone could go watch it, but it's been private for a long while now. 3 years at this point. Now, I want to be clear about the contents of that video real quick. That is a woke-ass video that was made during a woke-ass time because I am a woke-ass bitch, and I'm fully aware that the political climate has drifted away from where it was when I made it.
Okay, what's the point of this? Are you seriously taking a dig at Chudi just because she did a woke-ass video she did a long time ago that she no longer stands by? Maybe it would interest you and your audience to know why Chudi privated her video. Ready for this? Are you ready? Because her video was in defense by a YouTuber named Kai Weiss, who would later go on to commit domestic abuse against his partner, Omnia, who Chudi was friends with. Yeah, big surprise. She didn't want to be associated with the bastard anymore. Hey, remember when I said I can relate to you about getting annoyed at cowardly character assassination? Yeah, you're starting to piss me off.
But it seems bullshit to me because you don't hide something and try to rewrite it if you're not embarrassed by it. There are exceptions to that, but I doubt that's the case here. And it definitely seems to me the members of
the Cinny Bear Defense Force
tried to get Jar to have Chud Logic review his video and pressed onto him this sort of thing because they knew that it would turn out something like that. Not all of them, of course, but at least Kumo, because Jar made the claim that he was waiting for his roommate, who was out of town at the time, Professor Dreadlocks, to get back to look it over before he published it. There's also another element that I think might have caused them to think Jar might have gotten cold feet and pressed this on them.
As you can hear at the end of the full call I had with Cinny, I said that I would be making a new draft in defense of Cinny before I talked to Jack. But yeah, I'm going to be changing my video a lot, and I'm also going to have to reach out to Jack because, you know, for all I know, you're
but can't prove that.
Are you daft? Everyone knows there were 2 drafts of the Cinny Bear video. Everyone knows that Kumo swiped the version and Goblin gave him that Jar was dumb enough to give her so she could go over it. Lio reacted to the original commentary that was going to tear Cinny a new one. Jar just admitted he was going to do a second draft in the audio you played. Do you just not pay attention to what you put in your videos?
There yet? No. Over there yet? No. Over there yet? No. Over there yet? No.
Because there's just so much other bullshit on this Beckett stream titled Copecast Just a Robot Saves Cinny with Kumo. That seems to be in the aim of convincing the audience that Jar is a sexual predator of some type. At least that seems to be where the rhetoric takes certain people. That Jar had a thing for Cinny, and that's why he defended her. But when it actually comes to actual evidence of that...
Yeah, no one could prove that Jar was simming for Cinny, so no one took that accusation seriously. Again though, Jar did admit to finding Cinny and her avatar attractive on the sole grounds that he is a guy. As for the sexual predator claims... He kept asking Maddie to join him for drinks and to meet him at his room at a hotel during a convention. Considering how persistent he was despite how many times she told him no, and then how he just refused to leave her alone despite how many times she told him to, I don't think that just might make women feel a bit uncomfortable around Jar. Lastly, Beckett asks Kumo if he has any evidence for his claims you have in your video.
What I'll say to you with this is, can we see some, like, have we got evidence of this? Have we got receipts from this?
This whole thing really was just one big cabal to try and take Jar down. It would have gone along with Kumo's later claims that Jar's a rapist. But he didn't. Lio, again, someone who defended Jar from false predator allegations, most certainly wouldn't have. It's amazing how actual critical thinking, combined with how much people actually know, can tear down your whole "this is one big setup" narrative.
The telephone effect, people milking this down the line without understanding where all this insanity came from and just assuming it's all true. But not like Jar doubled down on it. The dude didn't double down. And on a related note, but sort of side note, do people actually believe the Chud is fair meme? Because he's not. Chud Logic is a drama streamer. He would tell you that himself. The same of Beckett of Cope and Seethe. Both of them don't just actually report on the drama, but they have to, create it in a certain way. When nothing big's going on, you gotta feed the audience.
Again, Chud absolutely milked the Jar stuff for all it was worth. Beckett, I've only seen the 5 videos on Jar he has on his channel, while Chud has considerably more. You know what's funny? People weren't really talking about Jar after the call with Maddie was leaked. And then this video happened. You put Jar back into the public eye and gave people like me and Beckett content to work with. Well, technically Jar did because he just couldn't help but promote the video. Good work, Jar. Stopping here. Jar really thinks that this is a good video, and obviously he thinks that because its bias is all hell in his favor. Jar, I'm gonna be honest. I'm surprised you didn't ask Carmen Ryder to help you, but apparently even you're smart enough to understand why begging a known nauticon to defend you in regards to Cindy Bear would have been a bad idea. The only reason that anyone found out about Vincent's video is because you, in your arrogant ignorance, somehow absolved you of all your wrongdoings, and that Vincent was the only person who actually looked deeply into everything that happened, when that is far from the truth. Especially considering that you had an interview with June the King probably months earlier. Stay gone. The only people who will miss you are the hangers-on who care more about your content than who you are as a person. I got no advice for Vincent, especially because I'm apparently part of the woke mob. Not the first time I've been called a lib, even though my identify is neither right nor left. And let's watch the live stream anyway. Well, that was an hour of my life I'll never get back. It confirmed, though, that Vincent is not a Jar fanboy. He's just anti-Beckett for whatever reason. Something interesting does happen when the faculty of Opbach joins the stream, though. Asks Vincent if how Jar behaved towards Mally could be considered harassment. Vincent's answer? Crickets. He tries to avoid answering the question and even says he doesn't have to answer it. In the end, Vincent ended the stream and went back into a corner. Very telling of what kind of a person Vincent is. Anyways, this is I saying thanks for watching, share your thoughts with me, and considering Jar responded to Communist Creeper, despite telling Antunes that Creeper's a nobody cares about, I eagerly await Jar's response to this commentary.